What's up, Power Racks crew? Today's video, we've got a racket going on. I thought it was this, but what was it really? Watch the video, find out. See if you guys can pick up that rattle. One of the baffles inside here has become unwelded and it rattles like a beast when you first start it up. So my game plan is I'm going to change it out the muffler, and I'm going to leave the tailpipe because that's pretty much a new tailpipe. Oh, I put the muffler and the tailpipe on at the same time, but that's the same with buying cheaper mufflers. This right here is a thrush welded. Of course, it's just nothing but a Flowmaster knockoff. And maybe Flowmaster has stronger welds inside. I don't know. I've run a few Flowmasters in the past, but I never kept them on long enough to really test them, the longevity. But the one I'm installing today, which you'll see in a minute, is this right here is kind of equal to the 44 series Flowmaster. The one I'm putting on is going to be equal to the 10 series Flowmaster. So leaving the tailpipe on because it's in good shape. That's a Walker tailpipe, and I'll include links to all these parts. And you got new pipe going in, and these changed the laws in Tennessee to where you do not require a catalytic converter. So I'm going to look at taking that converter off. Being that YJs only have one O2 sensor, it doesn't require, it just say running a catalytic converter doesn't do a whole lot of good. I mean, other than, emissions or stuff like that, but we no longer require emissions in Sumner County, Tennessee, so it's no longer an issue. So keeping the pipe through here, going up to the header. I'm going to cut it off right along there somewhere. I got to pick it up because it's sitting on the skid plate. Taking the cat off and see what we can do from there. I got to find this kind of a bracket. I can't see it. Actually, coming off your transmission across me right there somewhere. I don't know if a viewfinder is very, very bad. I don't know if it's picking it up or not. Now, as you can see, right there is a rubber bush with that flat plate coming off of. That's actually an exhaust hanger. So I'm going to see about connecting that back to my exhaust to keep it up off my skid plate. So that's my game plan. Give you something to laugh about. Look at my hack job there. That bushing is actually okay. The exhaust hanger bushing, it's actually okay. So what I thought is this exhaust was rattling on the frame back there, and on the skid plate back there. So I tied it up, which actually picked up the whole exhaust quite a bit to get it up off that. But my clamps are pretty well wore out, and because I've reused them so many times, it dropped down and hit up there anyway. But come to find out, once I got to mess with it, I figured it out that it was inside this right here. So I'm gonna start it up, see if it makes all that rattle sound, so you guys can, get an idea of what I'm talking about. It did a little bit, but of course whenever I wanted to record it, it wouldn't be that bad. But let's do it before on the exhaust. The exhaust knows how it sounds off the tailpipe. Then we put that 10 series in without a catalytic converter. Give you guys an idea of the difference how it sounds. made a little bit more racket that time. Maybe you picked it up on the camera, maybe it didn't, I don't know. But hey, let's get over here and show you what we're doing. So here we have, this is muffler right here, and I'll drop a link down below because I can't remember what the brand was, but it's basically a knockoff of the Flowmaster Super 10 series. So we got the muffler here, here's the outlet, there's the intake, and I've already got one of my clamps staged in place, and a piece of a 2.5 inch exhaust that I got to figure out how long I need to cut. And then I got this short section here to come off this backside if I need to. So I'm going to get to measuring the diameter of my pipe that's underneath there and figure out what I need to do, and we'll talk about it here in a minute. So let's crawl under and take a look at what we got right now before we do the change out. So what we got right now is coming off the head pipe up here, coming off the header, coming around. We got 2.5 inch pipe coming into a catalytic converter, and this clamp right here is 2.5 inch clamp. Pipe here is 2.5 inch OD. Pipe coming off the cat, 2.5 inch OD. I welded to the thrush welded muffler. This is 2.25 inch. So this coming to this, I welded that up back originally. And then your tailpipe, this is a Walker, if I remember right, tailpipe. I'll drop a link down below, so if you guys need a tailpipe for a YJ, if it's a 4-cylinder or 6-cylinder, either one. So what are we going to do today? So I'm putting another welded style in like this with the baffles. But this right here, if I can zoom back enough, this is the 44 series, comparable to the 44 series Flowmaster. The one I'm putting in is more comparable to the 10 series, which is only about this wide, but you'll see it here in a minute. It's actually laying right there. So we're going to put that bad boy in today. And as you can see right there's the front clamp. I got tired of playing with it. I split that sucker with the cutoff saw right there. And for a little safety tip for you guys, these cutoff heads right here, Lennox Metal Max, these things are the bomb. They're kind of a good replacement of those old school abrasive ones that explode all the time. These right here, made out of metal, they don't explode, and they last like so much longer than those cheap ones. Yes, these are a little more expensive, but they're safer and last much longer. And there's where the rear clamp was, laying right there. So this section of exhaust is ready to come out. And so I'm gonna put the camera down because I really don't feel like getting beaten in the head, because I'm paying more attention to the camera than I am the exhaust. So just remove that clamp, it'll come off. So I got the muffler off. I thought I was going to shake it. Listen, no rattles. I'm like, what? I just went through all that trouble, and if that's not the noise, well, guess what I found? Let's go into the Jeep. So obviously there should not be anything in here to rattle, because it's not. But grab hold right here, it ain't got to pick up. Anyway, there's a chunk of the catalytic converter inside there that's just rattling around. So guess what I gotta do? So some of you are gonna ask, hey, you gonna put a catalytic converter back on it? No, I'm not. So performance wise, I never noticed any difference in the Jeep, so it's not clogging it up. Well, here's what can happen. Whenever you have a chunk that's rattling around inside your catalytic converter like that, there is that possibility that that chunk can just pop right up inside your exhaust pipe and stop up your exhaust. I know this for a fact. It wasn't on this, it's on a Cutlass I used to own. I was going to school for 3D solid modeling stuff, CAD stuff, and I was on my way to class in my Cutlass. And all of a sudden, it just like, it stopped. It's like it didn't want to move. It was just run out of breath and wouldn't pull itself. And I turned it off, and I'm getting down, I'm looking at it, it's like, what the heck? So I started it back up, boom, it took off, and it ran good. And every now and then, it would just like, it would stop up the exhaust, and it would run like crap. But then I finally figured out what it was. That catalytic converter was rattling like that. And that chunk would stop up the exhaust, and it would kill it dead. So I'm definitely going to cut the catalytic converter off this. I'm not putting one back on it. So to get the exhaust out, you got two 9/16 bolts, which obviously you see that I've already got them out. Because right there's the pipe. So now I got to cut the catalytic converter off that pipe. Yay me. So here's a little bit better shot. You can see down inside there. There it is. Yeah, she's done. That whole thing's done broke loose and turned around. So that thing may run a lot better, because oftentimes when they get to the point they start breaking up like that, the little honeycombs, that little micro holes that's inside all that, they're already starting to clog up by then. So it may make a good performance increase after all. So, well, like I said, if you've got a good catalytic converter, it does not hurt performance at all. Hey, got an idea? What do you think? Y'all want to hear what it sounds like running an open header? Be fun. Why not? So I set the camera right there. You can see that dumping out the header right there. We might get a little bit of I don't know, flame show. And let's see what happens. Just waiting for the cops to show up for excessive noise now. Nah, it's not that time yet. I think it's like 10 o'clock around here, something like that, 9 or 10 o'clock before you start getting in trouble for excessive noise. So I should be good. But I was watching the viewfinder best I could, and yeah, with some flames popping out, that's pretty cool. All right, now let's try to figure out how to get the exhaust back on this thing. So being that I got to replace the catalytic converter, I'm just gonna put that straight section of pipe in right there. So to make my pipes pretty well, make my muffler fall pretty much where it was before, is I ended up cutting this pipe right here at 22.5 inches. How did I come up with that number? Okay, put this was butted, not overlapped, and I just took a 3-inch steel band clamp and wrapped that around that. That's how that was held together. Of course, the inside here was on that right there. So I measured from there to there, come up to 22.5 inches, cut my pipe 22.5 inches. I've got this clamp already tightened down. So now I'm gonna put my down pipe back in. This side right here is already kind of snuggled up. Then once I get this in place, I'll take this, slide it back up inside there, and it will fit back inside this pipe here. 2.5 inch OD going into 2.5 ID. This will slide up inside that, and you see it's a step clamp. So when you tighten up a step clamp, this diameter here will clamp down on the 2.5 inch OD. This part right here will clamp the ID and holding everything in place. And then we'll figure out what to do with the tailpipe, because I've got kind of a quandary on that one at the moment, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now I'm working on putting the downpipe back on the header, and so be sure to use some anti-seize on your threads, because if you ever have to drop that thing again, those header bolts coming off that flange are very, very known for having being seized up. So your best one is use that copper formula. Good stuff. There ain't no way I did that right. I put those bolts on and didn't get one spot of anti-seize on my hands. There's no way I did that right. Something's gonna go wrong now. You know how it goes. Okay, joke's over. So now we gotta get this thing right here over top of the skid plate, joined to the pipe, which is about right along in there. You see where the header pipe coming up in right here. It stops about right there. So I gotta come over top of the skid plate, get that inside that pipe, and tighten it up. So obviously it's starting to get dark on me. So I got me a 2x4 crammed in between the muffler to space it up off the frame, which puts me in line the out of the muffler going into the tailpipe. So tomorrow I'm going to fabricate the section from here to there. But right now this has got my muffler in line where I need it, so I tightened up that clamp that I showed you guys earlier, and this will make me drivable again for the moment. So tighten up my bolts, which are right there. So let me get to those, tighten them up. So we ended up changing up a couple things. I used the band clamps. I love them for lots of different purposes, because I got one there and I got one there. But the one I had way up there, I took it out, welded up that seam. Why? Because if you notice here It is so hot out here, my lens is trying to fog up. The seam right here where the band clamp joins the pipe, if your pipes fit up inside your muffler or pipe inside pipe, as long as you've got a good fit, you get a perfect seal every time. But here's the deal. The one up there, that pipe here was going inside of a flange, another pipe adapter that had been, I guess, kind of flared a little bit more because it used to be up inside the catalytic converter. It wasn't getting a good seal with the band clamp, so what I ended up doing is welding that seam up there, got that taken care of. And that right there wasn't fitting correctly, so I welded it up, and that weld looks like crap. So, dude, my lens is fogging like crazy. But anyway, no exhaust leaks now. Look at that, golly. Now that my camera lens is unfogged, so what does it sound like now? Not too shabby. It's a little louder than I really wanted it, but hey, it's okay, I'll live with that. But right now I'm not running any catalytic converter, straight through that little 2-chamber Flowmaster knockoff. I'll drop a link down below if you guys like that muffler, like the way it sounds, stuff like that. You guys can pick one up. So like I said, it's just a little bit louder than I like personally, but there's a lot of people who love straight pipes. I hate straight pipes. But this does change, it takes a lot of the raspiness out of it, whereas straight pipes, you get to allow that high-pitched crack sound. That muffler does take that high-pitched crack. I cannot stand straight pipes. So, for that, I'm good with it. Yeah, thought I'd give you guys a quick pic of my helmet. Put me a YJ grill on the front of it right there. Kind of looks like I've got a, I don't know, almost like a Darth Vader thing. The Force will be with you. Kind of cool. Then, my sticker. Yay. My buddy Wayne gave me that Jackson right there. Pretty nice helmet. It's got that auto darkening feature on it. Yeah. For the longest time I used like one of those little shields you stick up in front of your face, or like a regular welding helmet that had just a fixed lens. And then he gave me that auto darkener. Ever since I went to the auto darkening helmets, I'll never look back to another style helmet again. Those of you out there who's learning how to weld, they'll actually help you a lot, because it ain't nothing that's flipping the hood up and down so much. So if you're trying to learn how to weld, get you an auto darkener. It'll help a lot. And you can pick them up at like Tractor Supply, Harbor Freight, places like that. And they're not a whole lot of money. They're really not. So pick one up. I'll tell you what, I'll drop a link down below if you guys are interested. I showed you my helmet, so there's my welder. And it's an old Hobart Handler 135, or H135 for short. And it's simply it's really super simple. But there's how much power you want, and right there's your wire speed. And right now I'm running a big spool in, which I do all the time because of all the welding I do. But it's pretty much how it sets up there. You got a little tension spring right there that sets the load on the wire. Then you got your roller, adjust your tension here. Super simple. And it's set up, this particular welder will do gas or flux core either way. I run flux core all the time because, well, I weld outside all the time. Sitting up on gas, welding outside, oftentimes you're having to fight the wind, and it's blowing all your shielding gas away. So I'm outside 99.9% of the time, so therefore I run flux core. So they discontinued the H135, then I got the H140 or Handler 140s. These are awesome little welders. They're made by Miller, and for those doubters, let me show you. Look right there. It's all Miller parts. The only difference between the Hobarts and the Millers have better controls and stuff. You know, more detailed controls and stuff. But this right here has, I mean, you can look at the poor thing. It has been through the ringer for, gosh, I can't count how many, 12, 15 years or more. I don't know. A long time. But every now and then, I went through a few liners. The liners is inside here, but that's a wear tear item. Of course, then all your MIG tips. And I was having a problem out of it a couple days ago. I thought the thing was about to die on, but come to find out, the MIG tip up inside there, it was getting stuck to the electrode and stuff inside here, and so I had to do a little bit of work to it, cleaned it up, and I just welded that exhaust. Doing just fine now. I done some 3/16 plate a few minutes ago. It did up fine on it. So one thing about running the MIGs, keep your wire stick out. You get a better view here. Wire stick out is how much wire you got coming outside your tip. You want to run your wire at least 3/8 to 1/2 inch outside your tip, because if you run it too far in close, you'll end up burning the wire into the tip, and I got a really bad habit of that, because I love to run my tip close to the pool, but I got to stop that habit, because that's part of what my problem was. I kept burning my wire up into the tip. So keep about 1/2 inch stick out, and you'll be fine. Awesome little welder. I'll link it up below. Actually, it'll be the H140, because like I said, this one's been discontinued. So let's take a look inside the catalytic converter, if I can manage to do this. Let me see if I can finagle this. Okay, I've got my flashlight on, and it's shining the flashlight through the mesh, honeycomb, whatever. And you can see, well, let's see, what can you see? Sometimes my eye sees it, but I can't tell if the viewfinder's seeing it. There we go. And see, I'm getting light coming through the honeycomb, at least what's left of it, but you can see that section that's right there. It's broken loose from inside the case and just laying there. And that's where all my noise was coming from. So is it possible that the whole catalytic converter was clear enough and stuff? Yeah, it's possible. But, I mean, obviously, that was going to be the noise maker. And oftentimes when they start coming apart to that level right there, they're pretty well gone anyway. And the camera's not picking it up, but up inside the edges of the honeycomb that's still attached, it's also breaking loose from around it. So, anyway. Now, what should you have learned from this video? One, those clamps, those band clamps, they do a pretty darn good job, with the exception of with your fitment of your piping going together, like from your OD going into the ID part of the pipe. If you don't have a good perfect fit, it's just not going to fly well at all. You'll get the clamp can't seal properly around the pipe, and it'll stop all your exhaust leaks. So what did it do for my performance? Actually, it improved it quite a bit. Now I'm running 35-inch tires on 373 gears. It's a 4.0 liter 5-speed, and I didn't use 5th gear all that much because I really need more gear to run these range 35s. But changing out my exhaust and probably uncorking my exhaust because of a bad catalytic converter actually made a good performance improvement. I see the couple nights ago I went to Nashville and back, and on the way back, or on the way there and back, I could actually use 5th gear quite a bit. There was only one time I actually had to downshift on the highway. So overall, I've got my 5th gear back. So kind of surprising, honestly. So what do you think may have given me that performance boost? I don't think the muffler itself did a whole lot of huge improvement as far as flow. I mean, those mufflers that use the baffles and stuff like that, they're known not to flow very well. I mean, I know a lot of people toot their horn and stuff like that. Oh, I run a Flowmaster, I run Flowmasters. Let me tell you something, people. Really, when it comes to performance, Flowmaster mufflers are not that good, especially when you get on the upper RPMs or larger cubic inches and stuff. Now, why did I go that style? Because it's just a 4.0 liter inline 6. They don't move enough air for the baffling and stuff like that inside the chambered style mufflers to really make that big a difference. Now, I think where my performance came in from, my catalytic converter definitely was coming apart, as you guys seen that. There was some areas inside the catalytic converter that was flowing, I guess you might say, but obviously the catalytic converter was bad, going bad and stopped up and stuff like that. So I also believe my performance came from getting rid of the catalytic converter. Now, does that mean don't run catalytic converters? That really depends upon where you live at. Up until January, February, I don't remember exactly which, something like that I used to have to run catalytic converters here in my county because of emissions and stuff. Well, we no longer have emissions, so I can run whatever I want now. But was I going to intentionally remove the catalytic converter just because, oh, now I don't have to run them no more? No, I wouldn't. It wasn't until I discovered it was bad, then I removed it. And I wasn't going to put the money into putting in another one. Now, if your catalytic converter is in good shape, you're not going to really hurt your performance on a small engine. Small engine mean your 2.5s, 4.0s, and even your smaller V8s and V6s. Now, if you've got a pretty built Mustang or Camaro that has a 302 or 350 or even a 305 or something like that, and you're cranking some RPMs, yeah, catalytic converter is probably going to slow you down quite a bit. So at least run a dual setup if you're doing something like that. But honestly, if you don't require catalytic conversion, you're building one, I personally won't spend the money to do it. So there you go. So everyone, hope you guys learned a little something from this video. If you did, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, leave me some cool comments down below. Appreciate you hanging out. Peace. Later, y'all.